behavior, because this is a good topic, can we talk about something that's very practical for the community, and that would be something like overeating. And why do you feel, or why is it that people overeat?
It's such a complicated thing. We always like to reduce it. Try and simplify to that. Like, oh, she must be sad, and that's why she's fat. You know what I mean? Or whatever. She overeats because she's fat. But overeating is such a complicated thing. And again, the more clients that I work with, the more I realize the social, lifestyle, economic, mental, and emotional inputs that go into our eating behaviors. We actually did a recent study on one of our coaching groups, the skinny guys. It's called the Scrawny to Brawny coaching program. And we found that it wasn't just genetics that got these guys skinny in the first place. You know, a lot of these guys were really, really skinny adults who came to us to learn to build muscle. And in some cases, you know, gaining 30 or 40 pounds of lean mass got them to normal. It wasn't like this got them to huge. This was like got them to normal. So we look at these things, social, lifestyle, economic, mental, emotional, and a lot of those things impact their ability to eat enough. And that's why they were skinny, whatever, scrawny in the first place. And, you know, there was a study we reviewed on our site recently, and it was showing that overeating could be caused by one or two very opposite things. And this is why sometimes I try and get really practical and skip the theoretical, because when we go through this, you'll be like, wow, okay, two very good theories, completely opposite. Mm-hmm. The first reason suggests that in some people, food triggers a much bigger pleasure response in overeaters than normal eaters. So let's say I'm really overweight and I eat too much. And for me, and this, according to this theory, when I eat, I just feel way more pleasure. So it forces me to eat more and more, so I keep getting the pleasure, right? Now, the opposite and equally credible theory on this is that some people, or in some people, food triggers a much smaller pleasure response. So therefore, they eat and keep eating to try and get the same amount of pleasure that you or I might get from a normal intake.
Right.
So, you know, which one is it? Well, we don't actually know. In fact, in my coaching program, and like I said, we've seen about 7,000 people so far in this, we've seen both types. You know, people who seem to eat because it makes them feel, I don't know, certain ways, more pleasure, whatever the case may be, and others who seem to be seeking some kind of feeling and keep eating. Mm-hmm. But in other cases, you know, the truth is, I don't think it's as psychological or emotional. It's simply that they don't realize that they need to eat less food, because by comparison, they seem to be eating in a normal way. I mean, you know, again, I grew up in the U.S. and I spend a good chunk of each year down in the U.S. And you go to eat at a restaurant in the U.S. and the amount of food that they serve you, is legendary for how much it is. And I mean, if you're always eating those types of portion sizes, if I were to show you what a more appropriate portion size is, you'd think I was crazy that I'd be asking you to eat that. That's way too little. So, you know, a good example is in our lean eating coaching program. We have these lessons where our coaching team actually takes pictures of all their daily meals with their iPhones or their Blackberries or whatever, and just posts them for their coaching clients to see. So it's like, here's what Coach ate today. All right. And time again, our clients have these epiphanies, these big aha moments. They're like, holy crap. Coach is like 20 pounds heavier, 10% body fat less, and I'm eating twice as much as them right now. I better cut back. So sometimes the problem is just that we don't know what to eat because our social cues about what to eat are exaggerated or, let's just say, off in some way. So, in the end, overeating happens for hundreds of different reasons, and some are emotional and some are very practical. And, when working with a client, if you're a fitness professional, the key is really this, and I take a cue from Chip and Dan Heath in their really amazing book called Switch, is to give them very clear operating instructions, things that aren't vague, things that are clear, while helping what we call shape the path for them, which is basically creating an environment where they can succeed. And for those of you who haven't read Switch, and if you're a fitness professional, it's like the next book you should read. It's all about change. It's all about why we change when we do, how to facilitate effective change, and it's done in such a way that you can use stuff immediately. So Switch is a fantastic book for that. We teach these types of things in our coaching certification program as well. And, the real bottom line there is that you have to have strategies. It's not enough to know why people overeat. You have to figure out how to help them prevent it, the very next time they sit down for a meal.